we have to be careful not to underestimate Joe Biden's abilities. There are concerns that he's going to be jacked up on something, probably. When you look at the debauchery coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, it's almost as if God needs to send an apology letter to the mayors of Sodom and Gomorrah. The FBI sending agents to knock down the doors of pro-life families in the dark of night, pre-dawn guns-drawn raids, going after law-abiding gun owners simply for embracing the Second Amendment. It is a major deal. People are just really concerned, I would say anxious about what's going to happen. And so I wanted to put together a book, first of all, that would encourage people, would inspire them, and would give them hope. We have to engage the culture. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page precious metals guide today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. You're watching AMAC's podcast, Better for America, and I'm thrilled to be joined right now with Todd Starnes. He is an author, and he is the host of the Todd Starnes Show. This is a nationally syndicated show. It's broadcasted on over 500 radio stations, live from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to check out the Todd Starnes Show. Todd, welcome to Better for America, and thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much, and just a big fan of what AMAC is doing, and we're great to have a long-standing partnership with AMAC and our national radio program.
That is just terrific. Todd, I want to talk a little bit about your newest book. You have authored so many books. One of the most popular books was The Deplorables Guide to Making America Great Again. That was a great book. But your most recent book, Twilight's Last Gleaming, came out in March. Tell us a little bit about this recent book.
Yeah, so we've been getting a lot of calls on the national radio show. People are just really concerned, I would say anxious about what's going to happen in November. And a lot of people are, I don't want to say doom and gloom, but there's a little doom and gloom out there. And so I wanted to put together a book, first of all, that would encourage people, would inspire them, and would give them hope. And I do believe that no matter what happens in November, we're still going to be here. The sun is going to rise, and we're going to keep fighting the good fight. I mean, look, AMAC knows this. We've been through a lot of ups and downs in this country, and AMAC has been there not only fighting the good fight, but growing the ranks, growing the troops. So I'm encouraged either way. Ronald Reagan wrote a book, or gave a speech many years ago, and he noted something about our national anthem. He said, you know what's interesting about our national anthem? It doesn't start with the Declaration. Our national anthem is actually a series of questions. Is the flag still there? Can you still see it flying? And so I wrote a book based on that. That's how I came up with the title, Twilight's Last Gleaming. Can America be saved? America can be saved. I truly believe that. The question is, do Americans want to save America? And we will find out in November.
That's exactly right. And when you mention the doom and gloom that people across America are feeling, in a sense, you can't blame them. When we see a president who invites men dressed in burlesque, half naked, to the White House lawn, it kind of makes you want to cover your eyes. And there's a sense of embarrassment there. We know that the White House has recently promoted Tyler Sherry. This is the former Interior Communications Director who gained attention for controversial remarks. They're promoting him to a senior communications position under Joe Biden's administration. How does this make America look on the world stage, in your view?
Well, it's embarrassing. And look, elections have consequences, right? We all knew this was going to happen. I mean, when you look at the debauchery coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, it's almost as if God needs to send an apology letter to the mayors of Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, it's just unbelievable when you see the level of evil, of perversion coming out of that White House. But again, going back to, Twilight's Last Gleaming for just a moment, I address this right out of the gate. Chapter 1 is Darth Brandon of the Temple of Doom, talking about that infamous speech he gave in Philadelphia, when Joe Biden actually promised to bring a dark winter to America. The Democrats laid out exactly what they were going to do. I interviewed President Trump for the book. He invited me to Mar-a-Lago, and we spent several hours together. And it was just truly fascinating to hear him and to really get an idea of who this man really is. And I think that when you look at Donald Trump, he's an anomaly. He is he is a blue collar billionaire. I didn't know there was such a thing, but this is a man who truly connects with the American people in a way that Joe Biden never has and never can.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it seems that the Democrats have laid out their strategy. Most recently, Todd, they are running with, don't vote for the felon. It almost seems now that more and more is being uncovered, this has been their plan all along, to imprison their political opponent. The Democrat persecution of Trump is something like we've never seen before. And AMAC members are rightly concerned. Could we lose an impartial DOJ and judiciary after all that we're going through?
Well, I think we've already lost it. And I think we've already lost it. When you look at, and again, this is why AMAC is so vitally important. You guys are literally on the front lines fighting this fight in Washington, D.C. A lot of people think, oh, it's all about the great discounts, that Bob Evans were. No, the discounts are great. The coupons are great, wonderful. But the reality is the most important thing that AMAC does is the lobbying efforts, mobilizing the forces, and standing up and fighting and protecting our freedoms. There's no doubt about it. There is such a thing as the deep state. There is such a thing as the swamp. And it is very clear that our government has been weaponized against us. And this really did not happen during the Biden administration. You have to go all the way back to the Obama administration when Obama, under the realm of Lois Lerner at the Internal Revenue Service, went after pro-life groups, Tea Party groups, and even Billy Graham, America's evangelist, for the first time in the history of their great ministry, faced an IRS audit because they defended traditional marriage. So, yeah, it's a fight, and I'm so glad that AMAC is in it.
Yes, and it's not just Trump who they're going after. If we don't do something, and this is why we're encouraging people to get involved with AMAC, because the more members we have, the more powerful our collective voice is. And we are doing a lot on the local level, on the state level, and of course on the federal level. But it's not just Trump that they're going after. I mean, we saw how they went after John Eastman, Trump's attorney. This is a man whose license is threatened, who can't practice law, who is being just, really very unfairly persecuted for standing with, and finding any legal recourse that Trump may have had in 2020. And we see what's happening and how all of these, they're just going after him. We saw what happened in New York with E. Jean Carroll, essentially laws being passed in order for her to be able to file a lawsuit some 30 years after the supposed or alleged attack occurred. This is something that should concern all Americans. And what I'm seeing, is more and more people are waking up, especially, I think, a lot of minority groups, including blacks who are migrating towards Trump. Do you think that will continue between now and November? And is this backfiring on the Democrats, this plan that they have to imprison their political opponent?
Well, yeah, it's lawfare and the weaponization of the judicial system, and you look at what's happening to Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro,
Right.
Both men held in contempt of Congress. The DOJ decided, we're going to throw down the hammer here. Those guys, one of them already in jail, the other heading to jail, and then you have a situation where Merrick Garland, who has been held in contempt of Congress, the DOJ says, whoa, we're not going to go down that path, so we're not going to prosecute him. So again, I think everybody understands, everybody sees the hypocrisy and the double standard. To your point, though, I mean, it's not just from a political standpoint. The FBI sending agents to knock down the doors of pro-life families in the dark of night, pre-dawn guns-drawn raids, going after law-abiding gun owners simply for embracing the Second Amendment. parents complaining about the curriculum at their schools, at their local schools. Look at the Catholics being infiltrated, their parishes in Richmond, Virginia, and other places around the country. So, yeah, it is a major, major deal. Again, elections have consequences. As far as minority voters, and this is very exciting, because the messaging is getting through. President Trump a couple of weeks ago spoke at a black church in Detroit, Michigan, holding a town hall. And for the first time in modern political history, you had a candidate who got up in front of the congregation. He didn't shuck and jive. He didn't get into the black preacher voice. He didn't sing a spiritual hymn. He was just Donald Trump, the blue-collar billionaire. And people resonate. Not only the message is resonating, but his personality. They see the authenticity of this man. He's not pandering. He's not putting on airs. And I think that's ultimately why blacks and Hispanics are beginning to embrace the Republican Party. And it's really not even the Republican Party. It's the America First agenda. And they're embracing that in droves. And I think that's an exciting thing to see. And we'll see how all of this plays out on Election Day.
Sure will. You know, we poll our AMAC members on a regular basis, and we ask them, what are the issues that matter most? One of the issues is what's happening to our children, the young children in America and our public school system. And what I find shocking is that we don't have even more parents and grandparents stepping up and saying enough. And when I say enough, I mean this sexualization of our children in kindergarten, you know, showing drag queen shows to first graders. This kind of stuff should not be allowed. Why do you think that there are some people, and I have Democrat friends here on Long Island who don't recognize the Democrat Party because they say, well, I don't, you know, that's not who I am. Yet a lot of people don't want to really participate in the fight. I guess it's easier for them to say, you know, I don't want to create a problem. Or do you think that are people afraid? What is it that's, because if we don't do something, each and every one of us and everyone listening on this call, if we're not speaking up, then that to me is equivalent to just surrendering, and we're going to lose America altogether.
Well, we are. And this is why I wrote Twilight's Last Gleaming. President Trump said it's the one book. He wrote a great endorsement. He says it's the one book you need to be reading before the 2024 presidential election. And the reason why is it's a call to arms. It's a call to action. We have to engage the culture. Bonhoeffer said it best. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. So we've got a job to do here, and it really is imperative for not only every AMAC member to get out there, but every American patriot to get out there and stand up, go vote on Election Day, tell your neighbors, the folks you go to church with, we've got a country to save, and I believe we're going to be able to do it.
Amen. There you go. Before we let you run, sir, final question is we know that Joe Biden and Trump will be debating in just a day. Tell me what you expect to see there. I mean, will Joe Biden, we see how Obama had to escort Joe right off the end of this stage there. You know, so how do you think this is going to play out? Do you think Joe Biden will be able to carry himself? And who do you think has the advantage?
Well, look, I think we have to be careful not to underestimate Joe Biden's abilities. There are concerns that he's going to be jacked up on something, probably. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, congressman now, a former White House physician, was on my radio show, and he's calling for a drug test before and after, something the Trump team said, yeah, sure, our guys, we're willing to do it. Give us the cup. Joe Biden's team, they're laughing it off. Look, right now, he's going to be in Camp David a total of 7 days for debate prep, 16 coaches that are helping this guy. And part of the training regimen is making him stand up for 90 minutes. That's insane. So the question is for President Trump, tone and tenor. I can tell you that the rumors President Trump went to an old folks home and debated a guy with dementia to get ready. Not true. That did not happen. But President Trump's going to be ready to take on Joe Biden. Tone and tenor. That's what the president needs to be focusing on. And I do believe that if the president's able to do that, he's going to have a big night.
Excellent. Well, Todd Starnes, thank you for that perspective. Always a joy to have you with us. Thanks for joining. Check him out, The Todd Starnes Show, just a terrific radio show. You can check him out broadcasted over 500 stations live from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks again, sir, and we'll have to have you back with us again soon.
Thank you very much.
Terrific. To all of you out there, we look forward to having you join us back again on AMAC's Better for America podcast. Have a great day, everyone. God bless you.
We are proud to have First Fidelity Reserve as our official bullion and rare coin partner, as they have supported AMAC for over a decade. They are offering our members a free copy of their award-winning Precious Metals Guide to make investing in gold and silver safe and easy for you. Over the past 4 presidential election cycles, gold has trended upward, and this year looks to be the same, as experts estimate gold will gain 25% in 2024. So, don't miss out on $2,500 gold. Call First Fidelity Reserve, 800-336-1630. That's 800-336-1630, and get your free 38-page Precious Metals Guide today.